you can get away without missing out. Whether you're traveling across Idaho or just spending more time outside, the Connector keeps you up to date with the local stories that matter, from wildfire season to community news. Stay connected to Idaho with the Connector, Idaho Daily News. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Samantha Wright, filling in for Gemma Goddett. It's Idaho Matters. Since the last time we talked about rats on this show back in July, the Central District Health Board has earmarked $250,000 to fight the invasive critters. In July, Democratic Representative John Gannon of Boise had teamed up with a Republican legislator to sound the alarm over the spread of Norway and roof rats and to plead with local officials to help them come up with a centralized plan to fight them. Since February, we've been following Norway rats who made a home in the Treasure Valley, and they've been spreading fast. We asked Representative Gannon's opponent in the District 17 election, Republican James Nekwadowicz, to join Idaho Matters to talk about the ongoing rat problem, and he's with us right now. How bad is the rat problem? What have you heard? What have you found out from people?
Well, basically, I actually had one go across my backyard the other night. It was on my camera. I've got a neighbor close by who has caught 3 and another one that's actually caught 18. And I live in the next to the Mill Creek subdivision, just south of Overland.
So you've actually had them, you've actually had them in your backyard.
Yeah, it's ironic because we've been talking about this and I haven't noticed anything, but I've got cameras around the house that light it up and stuff. And the other night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I actually had one go across the backyard. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
Oh my gosh. And your neighbor has caught 18?
Yes. I've got a neighbor within a couple hundred yards that's actually caught 18 of them.
Okay, so this makes this rat problem, I think, very, very real. We keep hearing about the rats are coming in, and you're actually seeing them.
Oh, yeah, and I think if you back up, I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm, and dairy farms have rats. That's just the way life is. I worked in the feed industry, same thing. The problem with rats is they don't go away, and it's extremely difficult to eradicate them. You can control to a degree, but eradicating is almost impossible once they're there because of their breeding and such like that. I mean, they can have so many babies a year. It's almost impossible. And they just continue to grow in population if you don't get some controls in order.
Okay, so I think it's interesting that you have this history where you've seen rats in action before. Oh,
yes. Yes. I mean, they get into your feed bins. When I worked in the feed industry, rail cars of feed products coming in for the production of feed, actually, for cattle. And you'd have rats all over the railroads, everywhere they could find grain and stuff to eat. I mean, it just attracts them.
Okay, so what can we do? We've heard a lot about, they were coming sort of Meridian, coming closer to Boise. Obviously, they're here.
John mentioned they were in Canyon County now.
Yeah, so they're everywhere. So what do we do? If we can't get rid of them, how do we control them?
Well, the biggest thing I think is, you mentioned the fund, the money being put aside by the Central District Health Board. Mm-hmm. They've authorized $250,000 to help combat them. Donating free traps or offsetting costs for homeowners, that's going to catch some rats here and there, but it could catch squirrels and a whole bunch of other things we don't want to catch. It's just not, in my mind, it's not a feasible plan to get rid of these rats. I talked to a couple experts in the pest industry. That's what their business is. And if it was my call, I would probably put together a committee, reach out to these guys, the professionals in the pest industry, bring them together to formulate a plan. And part of it, and I think when you talk to John Gannon, he mentioned it too, it's cooperation. Because they're spreading so fast, you can't do a plan in Cuna and 2 weeks later do one in Garden City. Because the problem is you kill them in one spot, they just move from another spot into that spot again. So you need to kind of blanket the entire area at one time. That's where that funding can come in. If we hired professionals to go out and do the different areas and do it at the same time to knock their numbers down. That's the only way you're going to get ahead of these things. And I think you've got to go with poisoning. And the minute you mention poisoning, you get kickbacks from people saying, oh my God, you're going to kill my pets, secondary poisoning, and so on and so forth. But if you talk to the experts that do this for a living, they're going to tell you secondary poisoning is almost minute. It's almost not there. I mean, we have a little dog, and I don't want that dog to get hurt either. So, I mean, I'm a dog lover myself, and I don't want anybody's pets to get hurt. But I think the possibility of it happening is so slim that we need to at least look at that possibility of poisoning. A blanket poisoning across the whole Treasure Valley. I mean, it sounds almost crazy, but that's the way you can hit every city, every town at the same time. And that's the only way I can see you're going to eradicate them, if you can eradicate them.
We had talked to, here on the show, someone from one of the abatement districts who has been sort of trying to lead the charge to get everybody to the table, everybody to talk about an overall plan that would encompass, like you're saying, a plan of action, a way to track them, a way to keep, an idea of where they're going, where they've been. And it sounds like that's what you're talking about, not just set aside $250,000 here and some money there, but to actually maybe get everybody together.
Yeah, you need to almost declare war on these things, and if you don't do that and do it correctly, they're going to win that war because they are hard to kill. They populate so quickly that you need to hit them and hit them hard. And it's important that the cooperation exists between all the different municipalities so we all work together to do it at the same time. And, I got to give kudos to John Gannon and as well as Tammy Nichols, because I think that money largely that's available, that 250,000 is largely available because of what they've done before. That said, his cooperation idea is also a plus for him. I mean, I agree 100%. But I really think we need to get a committee. I think we need to get some people together, like you mentioned, experts. I'm not an expert. We need experts that can tell us what kind of poisons, what can we do, where do we place them? And then we need to use that money to hire these crews to blanket the Treasure Valley with an all-out rat eradication plan.
Okay, so you're running for District 17 in the legislature. Is this something that needs to be handled at a statewide level, a higher level, if we're going to get everybody together and get everybody working at the same time?
I think, that's kind of a double-edged sword. I think we need a state involved for funding and assistance, but I wouldn't want them to run it because I've seen politics over the last 60, 70 years, and they never get anything done. I'd just as soon have the local municipalities appoint people. And if we had representatives from Garden City, from Boise, from Middleton, if we had representatives like that, and then somebody to head that meeting up, I think they'll get more done faster than the state.
Gotcha. And you think that's our next step? Is that what we need to do?
I think we need to start it. We need to get going because these things they haven't stopped breeding. So the longer we wait, the harder it's going to be. We need to act, and we need to act quickly, and the first step would be to reach out to all these municipalities. John's already done some of that. I know I'm not in a position where I can probably, hopefully I will be in November, but we need to get these municipalities together under a roof, and we need to start talking and get something going.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a lot of people are saying that the time is now before, there's no going back, so to speak.
Well, the problem is if you don't do it now, let's say that $250,000 would actually work right now. If that's the case and you don't do it now, 6 months from now, you may need $500,000 or $1 million to do it. It's not going to be easier to do in the future than it is right now. We should have done something 2 years ago when they were in Eagle. We should have done something in that area and taken care of it before they ended up all over the Treasure Valley. Now they're all over the valley, so we've got to attack them in the entire valley.
We've been speaking with Republican James Nekwadowicz, who's running for the District 17 seat in the Idaho legislature, about fighting invasive rats in the Treasure Valley. We'll put a link to our past stories on the rat problem, including our talk with District 17 Democratic Representative John Gannon and his take on rats, on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org.
And that'll do it for this episode of Idaho Matters. Make sure you check out our podcast feed because you can find more episodes of topics that might be interesting to you. And for more local news and headlines, make sure you subscribe to the Connector podcast. And if you haven't yet, could I ask you to leave us a review wherever you listen? We read every single one, and we'd love to hear from you.